Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to Inspired Connections, where we share wisdom one conversation at a time. Today's featured guest, Griscom, is a spiritual leader, healer, visionary, and advocate for humanity, and is the founder of the Light Institute located in Galisteo, New Mexico. Chris has been called the mother of the New Age in Europe, and in India bestowed upon her the title of Mahatma, Great Soul. She is the author of numerous books and is the foremost world authority on reincarnation, a recipient of numerous international awards for her spiritual technologies and global endeavors. Chris has dedicated her life to the betterment of humanity and its awakening. She holds a special place in my heart and in my spiritual journey. Please welcome our featured guest and founder of the Light Institute, Chris Griscom. Chris!
Here we are, James. How wonderful to be together.
Isn't it? It is. This is always so rich. It's so rich, and it's so wonderful to have you on. And I would say right off the top,
to be with you.
Likewise. And I would just say for anyone, this bestowing of Mahatma, Great Soul, for anybody that has been in your presence and has had the privilege to play, as you call it. It's a truism. Yes. It's a true statement. So,
James, I want to say right here that for me, we are all Mahatma. We don't remember sometimes that we are and that we have come with wisdom before. But I always say, find that in each of you. You are Mahatma, great souls.
Mm-hmm. It's true, right? Our divine selves, our divine essence. Yes. Well, we're going to split this episode because there's so much to cover with Chris and the Light Institute and her latest book. And so we're going to split this and we're going to start off with, and let me just bring this up really quickly. This is Chris Griscom, the Light Institute, and the website is lightinstitute.com. So we just want to put that up at the top of the hour, Chris, so that everybody has it. We'll put it at the end as well. But you have this...
Wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you have this wonderful statement, this is on your website, about the works you do. And you say, it's all about the playing. Let's play. What does that mean to
you? James, what that means, if you can imagine viewing our identity through infinite incarnations, knowing that all that we do is a part of a play. We're learning, we're discovering, we're adventuring. And once we begin to realize that we don't have to be afraid of death or life, it does become a play. And it releases us from the judgment, the self-judgment, from the fear of disapproval or being separate or any of those things. And so that's why I call it the playing, that even though right now, as you and I and the world can see, we are in a time of fantastic spiritual evolution on this planet as a species. And so it seems as if, how can we be happy? How can we play? But if we step back and realize that this is why we're here, what's happening is why we're here for this, we can see that it is in the play and we are the players.
Isn't it beautiful? I mean, 8 billion souls choosing to be here, to incarnate at this time. And to the point that you're making in the works that you do at the Light Institute, this multi-incarnational, that we're not one note, we're many notes.
Well said. Yes.
That we are not.
We are
infinite.
It's, it's this orchestration of all of our potential and all of our stories and all of the wisdom that we actually carry. And that gives us a sense of destiny, a sense of purpose, and a sense of knowing we can laugh through this. We can cry through it as well, but we can laugh through this and say, we're here. We are here.
Yeah. We've shown up. We're ready for the play. Well, this is also, it says, what is the work of Chris Griscom? And I would say, what is this spiritual technology? And again, I've had the great fortune to be at the Light Institute to do a private incarnational session. Walk us through, Chris. What is the work of Chris Griscom, the Light Institute, and what is this spiritual technology?
Well, the work is the discovery of the true self. The work is the connecting with our divine source, what we call the higher self. And so what's wonderful about this discovery is that it comes from you. It comes from inside you, which is very important because we have to learn to trust the self. And so the way that my higher self has given this to me is through the incarnational format. It matters not if you think that you have been born many times or not. When you begin to imagine, here's the play, that you could look at a lifetime. And I never call them past lives. We call them incarnations of the soul. And so we open the conversation into these scenarios. And what's interesting is that the themes that come up will always be the themes that are happening in your life now. This is what it gets so fun, is that you will see people that you know now in other lifetimes, and you'll be able to have that wonderful aha. Oh, that's why I feel this way about you. That's why we've had these experiences, So it's as if, again, it's a movie, but it's your movie. And I always say it's the best movie in town. And so
it is. That's
the technology. The technology is, and I should say that I began this when I was 14. So a beautiful psychic woman said to me, let me show you how to open the veil. And she taught me how to do it. And I began with hypnosis. And then I did classical music with massage. Then I did golden needles from ancient Chinese. And then my higher self just showed me how to use the patterns of the windows to the sky, is what we call our work, in order to help you to just open up to your own imagination and see what's there.
There it is, the windows to the sky.
Very simple.
The windows to the sky. And since you brought that up, I want to bring this in very quickly. Let me go back to it here. Because with that, windows to the sky, and I'm bouncing around a little bit off from your website because I want to speak to it directly, is this beauty of the fact that, and you can describe it best, it's about the quote where you speak to, I feel a deep desire to help all reach this level. And there's pre-levels to this, windows to the sky.
There is.
And in a sense, the windows to your soul, right? The windows to everything that you are, not just in this one lifetime, meaning this incarnation.
Yes.
But how,
fantastic. And
go ahead.
Yes. Well, that was a discovery of my own soul, these windows to the sky, which is something that was used 4,000 years ago in China only for the emperors and only for the priests. And I had a memory of it. And that's how that came in, and it started the Light Institute. But what I realized was if you just blow someone into something that is so beyond, that has to do with infinite universes and infinite bodies and infinite consciousness, it creates a disimbalance. So what I do is that I begin the first day. It's a 4-day thing. I begin the first day with what's happening in your life now. What are the themes? We look at it as themes. When you see the incarnations, you might see them as stories of vignettes, lifetimes. But we're listening to what's your soul teaching you with this incarnation, and how is it carried out? And how does what you've experienced before, because the emotional body doesn't remember that it has time and space, so it just repeats. And so releasing that. So the first day we look at themes, and all the way through to come to the windows to the sky, we look at your inner child. We look at your higher self. We look at your inner female, your inner male, your inner mother, your inner father, your family members, your stories, the themes of power, of sexuality, of purpose, of all the things that are happening to you now. And we move through those sets really until we feel as if when we open up to the windows, it's an integration. And let me just quickly tell you how this came to me. When I was a little kid, my great grandfather, who was so important to me, lived with us. He was 92 and he was brilliant. And he would get me up every morning and take me out and point to the sky. And he would say, "Anchor the sky, little chick. Anchor the sky." And it took me until I was well into my adulthood to realize what he was talking about. He was talking about windows to the sky, drawing in your spiritual essence into your daily life, not creating this separation. So many people feel through their religions that they must be this way and they must do that and they must not do the other. This is all human stories.
It transcends all of that, right? It transcends all of that. And how
that's
fabulous!
Right. And that's what's
sorry, the intricacy of your grandfather with you. I mean, again, soul to soul, and that right. Example of walking that each playing their role to say, "Anchor the sky."
It was so beautiful. And then when I heard that those words, that beautiful energy that comes with this higher frequency that the Chinese used, windows, the windows to the sky, and then anchor the sky. It all came together, and that's how the Light Institute began. And it's been 40 years, and if ever it's been important to us to expand our identity, it's now.
It's now, right? Because imagine the expansion that we are living through at this moment, the construction and the deconstruction of great eras. I mean, a couple thousand years from patriarchal Piscean to matriarchal Aquarian.
Right. Yes.
This expansive shift. And Chris, we speak about this on Weekly Wisdom and Insights all the time about how it's literally we are transitioning to the inverse of where we've been, meaning the soul and the soul source connection is at the fore, and the ego, mind, personality, human is in service. The divine masculine is in service to the divine feminine. This is the age.
That they're yes, and I'm so glad you bring that up, because sometimes men get afraid, as they have been throughout time, of the feminine. And so when you look at yourself in an incarnational pattern, you realize that every man has been a woman, every woman has been a man, and so there's an integration of that. It isn't, each serves the other. And so it's a wonderful time for men to activate that intuitive, and that's something you're teaching, that intuitive feminine, the power of that into our daily lives, so that it doesn't have to be the destruction in order to create something. We can use the capacity of the feminine. The feminine has always held the potential, so it's always held the possibility of it, and then the yang comes in and gives it structure. And so this is a dance. Here's the play, and so this is a dance between them, which is so important at this time on this planet. Thank you.
Absolutely. And with your, so the 4-day multiple incarnation sessions, and they can be, so you do these around the world. So I just want to bring in the fact that we're also talking about, you have Global Echelon, you have EcoSOS, and I love this, exercises in consciousness. All of your work is exercises in consciousness. Share with everyone, with the viewers, what that means. Because
that's the spiritual technology, exercises in consciousness. And what that means is that we look at something, and the technology of it is, and I love this, is light. Because everything, your chair, your body, the tree, the sky, everything is made of light. So when we begin to use cosmic laws, which have been given to me through my many near-death experiences, by the way, it's kind of a tough way to learn, but these laws of the cosmos are the laws of light. And so we use light. If we want to increase our courage, we're going to look at where the body holds it, because I bring it all back to this body. So many religions and so many people are talking heads. They don't actually get in their body. And then they wonder why they get sick. You have to get in your body. It's your vehicle. It's your divine vehicle, And so then we use the light to amplify that courage, or perhaps, which I think is very important right now, and we could just do this really quickly. It's a very basic exercise in consciousness. Everyone is holding a tremendous amount of fear at this time. And what I would say is, first of all, a fascinating exercise in consciousness is just a few words, which is, if you feel an anxiety or you feel a tummy, whatever it is, stop and say, is this mine? Because we humans are such copycats that we take on, you go to the mall, you're sucking in everybody's energy, and then you feel tired. And you don't know why you feel tired, or suddenly you feel anxious or paranoid. It's not yours. And so many times, things, especially in our physical body, they're just something we picked up. And it's amazing if you use this technology of consciousness. First of all, is this mine? If it's yours, great. We'll use the light. If it's not yours, you can just imagine wherever that belongs, to whomever it belongs. You may know, but you may not. You begin to bring in from the cosmos the energy of light that comes down through you and out through your solar plexus. The solar plexus, the stomach is, and we all know this, the stomach is where we hold our emotional energies. So when we radiate light out through your solar plexus, out through your auric field, first of all, it quickens you, it frees you from being in the pot. And then you're actually performing, perhaps without knowing it, you are performing your purpose in life, because you are healing. You are helping. You are participating in the energies at play in this world.
And we have such a choice because, of course, with all of the advances of technology, so this 24/7 news cycle and the connectivity to social media and so forth, and to your point, it's this whole thing of, it's not even just at the mall, it's what are you consuming? What are you focusing on? Exercises in consciousness, right? What are you taking in? Because it's going places. It's permeating you. And so that exercise in consciousness about what are the energies, the people, the places, the things that I consume on a daily basis, and to alter them. Are they healthy for me?
Exactly. And there comes the choice. Because first of all, we often don't even recognize it. And secondly, we somehow feel, if things don't go well, we say, well, I knew it wouldn't go well, or that partner wouldn't work out, or whatever those things are. we have so much negativity of conversations in us. And this is why incarnational work is so important, because you can get to the source of it. It's not like a Band-Aid. It's like go to the source, remove the source with the power of light, which is the unmanifest into manifestation. This is cosmic law, and manifestation back into demanifestation. That's high levels of physics. And when we begin to play with these things, our whole lives change. Everything changes. And so, and this is why, to just become conscious of it, like that, where am I? Here would be one. Where, and let's do it right now, James. If you'll all just close your eyes for a second, it's so simple. Ask your body where it's holding fear at this moment, or anxiety. You may not even realize that your mind is saying, well, what if? And oh no. And it's so comfortable to you that you don't realize that it's a powerful energy that's holding you down. So right now, everyone, ask your body. You might see the place and feel it or hear it. Where are you holding that energy that holds you down? That's what fear does. It contracts. Just imagine it. Any place in your body. Bring your conscious awareness to that place. And just kind of check that out. Is it like a stone? Is it like squeezy? Is it busy? We can train ourselves to recognize energy. And now, focusing on that place in your body that's holding a little fear, again, whether it's yours or not, ask it what frequency of light it needs to be released. Here's the choice. The second you choose the light, it's gone. So just let your body bring you a color right now. You might hear the color or see it. And now, just imagine that you're sucking the color right into that place in your body that's holding that imbalance. Just bring it in and imagine that beautiful color, that frequency of light is washing away that fear. It's dissolving it. It's releasing it. It's not who you are. It doesn't have to identify you. Let it wash it out. Take a deep breath and feel it dissolving away so that it is not a point of reference to who you are. And open your eyes. It's that quick. Now you could do this while you're driving. You could do this when you're talking to someone when you're in the office. You can do it while you're doing many things at the same time because our consciousness is so expanded. But, I picked that simple one because it's really true that right now people are anxious about their future, about the next minute, you know? And if you're, the cosmic giggle there, James, is that you're creating your future. If you're afraid of something, you're creating a magnetism. It's all about energy. You're allowing it to be something that can become real, that can come from the unmanifest into manifestation. So very easily with these simple but most powerful cosmic laws, we can shift reality.
In an
That's
instant.
what we do at the light.
In a moment, in a choice. Yes.
That's in a choice. I love that you
in
say
a choice. That. And so for everyone listening, so at the Light Institute with Chris, they have Incarnational Intensives. And you do this not only in Galisteo, New Mexico at the Light Institute, but also in Naxos, Greece, Estonia, Germany on occasion. Yes. So so you take the show, you take the play on the road, so to speak.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, we do.
And all of these different sessions can be, you guys have them scheduled and everything. And then you can also do, as I did, a private one, a 4-day private one, which, Chris, I've said to you before, the unseen for me said, when I said I was going to do this, and they only said one thing to me, okay, but no turning back. And I remember getting there, which I just laughed, and I was like, okay. And Amy was my Light Institute facilitator, and after that first day, and it's beautiful work. This is deep work with your soul, with incarnations of your essence and being and everything. And I remember that at the end of the first, I think it was 4 hours on the first day, I was pulled up and contorted on the table. And I did, but in the time, I'm not aware of that until at the end.
Yeah.
And I went back to my hotel that evening and I was like, I don't know. I mean, it was incredible. And all I heard was no turning back.
Back.
And I was like, okay. And yet at the end of it, at the end of that 4 days intensive, you felt, for lack of better phrasing, renewed, reborn, revitalized, expanded in ways that, to your point, are indescribable and unknown until you experience them.
You found yourself. You found your true self, you know? And what I love about that is that sense of expansion starts to give you the courage, give you the power of imagination to envision something, you know? And so people begin to change their lives. And it's really wonderful to see that, you know, that there was something that they wanted, but they didn't dare, you know, and all of a sudden they're going, give it to me. I'm going right through this. And I love that.
And it's a beautiful, in visceral terms, it's a beautiful stripping, which then allows for all this newness to permeate, to release, to literally expand in ways, and it moves you forward. And so this is the incredible multi-incarnation work that Chris and all of the beautiful Light Institute facilitators around the globe do with her, through her. And I just want to bring this in. This was from the Windows to the Sky. I was looking for it earlier. I feel a deep desire to help each and everyone reach the level of the Windows to the Sky sessions. They are the most profound Light Institute sessions that bring you home to your true self and open your consciousness to worlds and realities most people never experience. And I would add that most people don't allow themselves to experience.
Exactly, James. Exactly. And that's why it's so comforting to begin to actually utilize your own inner voice, your own higher self, to trust yourself. Because we don't trust ourselves. We trust each other, and then we don't. But, you know, it's wonderful to really, like you said, oh, this is hard, but no turning back.
No turning back. Forward. Do it. Yes.
Yeah. And that's where we are right now on the planet, you know. And
right. No turning back.
No turning back. What we're seeing right now is what is coming up to be released. So we're seeing the best and the worst. And we're seeing things that, you know, that should never be happening at this time in our evolution, you know, on the planet. But they're coming up because we're here to release them, because we actually know how to fix this.
Right? That is the absolute truth. We know how to fix it. And this is simply the culmination of our choices. And thus, it may be painful, but it's purposeful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only painful for a moment. And what is involved there, the mandate that we have, these 8 billion plus souls on the planet right now, is to come together. Humanity, we've never done it. We've never done it before.
Right.
We've said them and us, and we're seeing the them and us in the most childish, I can't even say the word childish because children are so precious, but that unenlightened way. That we separate out from each other and we say, okay, I want to identify with this group. I am this. And I really feel that the incarnation works helps you to know, by the way, this is a scientific fact. No one is further away from you than your 44th cousin genetically. This is a scientific fact. So if you contemplate that, then you're going to run into different races. You're going to run into, you know, all these mixing up of people across the planet for eons of time. And so to say, I am just an American, or I am just a this, or that, is such an illusion. It's an illusion,
and how limiting,
yeah,
how finite, as opposed to, and to your point with the incarnational work, we've all been feminine,
Yes.
masculine, husband, wife,
Yes.
brother, sister, daughter, whatever, son, whatever the composition may have been. The murderer, the murdered. I mean, it's all in the incarnations.
The Mahatma.
The Mahatma, great soul.
Mahatma
Right.
and the fool.
There we are.
All of it. And so and this is one of the things that I love about the incarnational work, James, is that we allow ourselves to see ourselves being the killer or being the fool and seeing why we were that way, but not intellectually in our head, but energetically, so that we actually release that holding pattern,
Yes.
And so that we can see that we don't have to judge ourselves or somebody else because of our skin or because of our culture or because of our religions, that we have all been all this. So it's really expanding to begin to feel ourselves, to experience ourselves in this way.
And to expand beyond the physical, the 3D, because to your point at the top of the hour of the show, that when we meet people, we know people, we have that knowing, we're going to come to that, your meditation and knowings, that piece that says, I've known you. So you move beyond, you open and move beyond the physical to say from soul to soul, who were we? What are we working through? What's the residue? What's the bleed through? What's the holdover? And there's powerful work.
Potential?
Yes, and what's the potential? Because that's where because when you see a past life and you recognize to the great works that your book about Nojoni, the higher school of learning, and much of your work, when you have that knowing of like, we were husband and wife, but we might be mother and son in this lifetime, but in that lifetime we were a husband and wife. And the minute it clicks for you, there's this.
It's so fabulous.
It's like a massive exhale in a way that liberates you, and then you go, I got it. Okay. And it shifts. You fundamentally and you shift. It's fascinating work.
I love the way you're expressing it, James. That's exactly what happens. And so sometimes, I'll say to people when they're clearing another person, because one of the things you can do at the Light Institute is you can look at incarnations with a person. For example, if you're going to marry someone or you have a new lover, I will always say, get on the table and look at the lifetimes you've shared with them, so that whatever themes of power or whatever those things are that brought you together, that are bringing you together in this lifetime, the ones that don't serve your evolution together can be released. And that's why I always tell people, if you see somebody in a negative way and they want to know if they were in your lifetime, you say, this is why I've never loved you as well as I could, but now I can, because I was holding that. And it's also interesting to know, and very important, that if someone is bad to you or doesn't like you in this lifetime, this is one of the great teachings from my higher self, is that you must have done something to them. So instead of, defending yourself, you can say, wow, I must have done something in some other lifetime. So I'm releasing that now. And this really helps us with relationships and our sense of self to be able to, if someone steals from you or someone talks badly about you, instead of trying to defend yourself and blame them, to say, wow, I must have hurt that person in another lifetime. So I'll send them light. What color do you need from me? They have to choose the color. What color do you need from me to come into balance and be released from this? And then you never take it from yourself. These are these technologies of consciousness. You reach up and you draw that color from the cosmos down to the top of your head, into your solar plexus, your stomach, and you laser it out to them. And when you do that exercise in consciousness, it is amazing. Suddenly, you're not what we call in the Lion Suit, you're not in the pot. You can go on.
It releases you, it shifts you, and it does.
Yeah.
And I would say to everyone
and the
listening.
Funny thing is,
go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, and it releases them.
Right, absolutely.
Go ahead,
right.
James.
And I would just, I want to say to everyone listening, don't walk to the Light Institute, run. Go. They have such beautiful, brilliant, soul-shifting offerings and opportunities for growth and evolution and release. And that's the great works of Chris and the Light Institute. Just very quickly, Chris, I wanted Global Echelon and EcoSOS,
Yes.
and also meditation and knowings, answering questions from around the world. Just quickly, because I want to get to your new book. So give us...
Okay. So we can start with knowings, which used to be once a week, and now it's once a month because of Echelon. It's where people around the world, we meditate together a little bit, using light, using these processes of connecting with the higher self, connecting with light, and then extending our vibration, which I know you do with people. The frequency that we have for meditation, we give to the world in some theme. So that's the knowings. And then the Echelon is a weekly thing. And I love that because I pick a theme each week. And last week, by the way, it was about identity, expanding our identity. And so it's about themes that are happening now. We do a couple of exercises in consciousness. And then Echelon is really about what I call agents of change, that sense that you have this purpose to participate on a global level. And then we work with humanity or we work with nature. And that brings me to EcoSOS, which is a part of a program that had to do with, it's called Human and Nature Alliance, EcoSOS. And it's about what's happening on the planet with nature. And again, using our exercises and consciousness to balance nature. We can call the rain and we can stop the rain. And we've been doing this at Nijoni. We've been doing this for more than 40 years. And it's so wonderful when people say, we need a little rain and it rains. I always ask the trees because the trees call the rain. So there are all these ways that we can use our awareness, our consciousness to participate, to use our lives, to use this incarnation as a gift to ourselves, our own evolution, and to the world. And so this is what it's all about, how we integrate our sense of purpose. Because a lot of people, as I know you're working with right now, are saying, well, why am I here? Why is this happening to me? What is this? And the answer is inside you. And once you begin to explore that, then how you play, how you use your consciousness. I mean, what is more play than calling the rain? You know?
And I always
I call
say,
the rain here. Yes, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I always say, you're at the dance. Now you decide how you dance. We're all at the dance. Yes. So to your point, we're all at the play. Life is a play. How do you choose to play? We're all at the dance. How do you choose to dance? And we get to choose that.
And there are as many ways to dance as there are 8 billion people.
Exactly. Absolutely. And so exercises in consciousness. If there's one takeaway, exercises in consciousness. So Chris, as we move to your... Well, it sums it up. It puts to pin the tail on the donkey, exercises in consciousness. Because that is exactly what all of the great works you're doing and your new book and all of the books you've written, I mean, this is the point of it. These exercises in consciousness that raise your frequency, that liberate you, that free you, that empower you. And it's all exercise. It's choice, exercises in consciousness.
Yeah. And that shows us who we are. That's the Mahatma right there.
There it is. So your new book, Potential Body, Helix of Enlightened Health. And I want to read this piece. It says, "It is my purpose in Potential Body to introduce you to a myriad of ancient and modern techniques from around the world, along with cosmic consciousness that will give you the tools to reinvent your body and realign your relationship with it. This new kind of healing comes from applying potential into reality rather than the concept of fixing what is not well." And this is our first quote from you, which is, healing can be perceived as simply moving from what was to what is, through bringing into play what can be, meaning potential. Talk to us about how you came to this new book, because this is like a lifelong collaboration with Source, your works.
That. Yes.
So talk to us about Potential Body, Helix of Enlightened Health.
Well, it's kind of funny a little bit in terms of my own history, because I always was interested in healing, and I've worked in that field in various ways throughout my life. But then through a death experience in the Peace Corps, it opened me to all of this spiritual conversation, the universal energies within us, who we are and why we are here and what's happening. And that grew into the Light Institute. And so then I began through the Nijoni School and the Light Institute to really focus on uplifting or bringing to the fore our spiritual source. But what I'm seeing around the planet right now is people are sicker. They're more sick than they have ever been before because they're not using their bodies. I resisted this, James. I didn't want to do this book. I had done one book about this, which was called Ageless Body, right?
Yes.
And so I had talked about the ways that you can begin to play with your body and understand your body and move in your body. But I realized that I had to come back to the physical. And as I say, I resisted this book terribly. But I saw that we can't make this leap. It's just like the windows to the sky. We can't make the leap unless you do your homework, unless you come into energetically belonging and being and living that. And that's how the book was born. And so I wanted it to be the awareness that our bodies have potential that we've heard about in the past, bilocation, so many very esoteric things that we've read about, that we've heard, that belong to us. Remember, again, you may have been a person who could bilocate. You may have been a person who could heal from a distance. You may have been a person that did all kinds of what we call miracles. And it's time to access the potential of that without the ego part, but just the part that says, yes, the excitement of a child, the excitement of play. What if I could? I can. And so that was why I named it Potential Body. And I named it Helix of Enlightened Health, because I wanted people to realize that when you do exercising in consciousness, when you look at your body from a spiritual perspective, we have, for example, not just physical DNA, we got very caught up in the DNA for a while in the last 10 years. Now we're going, it's not about the genes. It's not about these things. In fact, right now, you may be closer to people who are spiritually connected to you than you are to people of your blood. And people are having a lot of confusion about that. So I'm saying, don't worry about it, but let yourself go free. You don't have to hold the karma of the blood. You need to hold the karma of the soul.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
pierce the veil, the illusions. Yes.
Yes, I love it. That's one of my higher self's words. Pierce the veil. Absolutely. And so a helix is this wonderful thing that protects the potential.
There's an image of it.
Whatever it is. Yes. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Absolutely. But looking at that when you look at that, you will think physical DNA. What's
Correct.
true on a cosmic level is that we have physical DNA, we have emotional DNA, we have spiritual DNA, we have the DNA of humans, we have the DNA of the nature, that's called the Devic kingdom. For example, you have the shark inside you. And you have the tree inside you. That is a scientific fact. So that is your Devic DNA. You have angelic DNA because in our quadrant of our galaxy, angels were created and they are our cousin species. So we have them, and there's so much projection onto them, and they're going don't project onto us. You might want to use our, copy.
They're so tired.
Believe you.
Right.
Believe me. I did a whole thing about Free the Angels, and it's amazing. And then you have the galactic DNA. Why do we say galactic DNA? Because we're a part of a galaxy.
Right.
We have, this is a scientific fact. We are made of carbon atoms. So are the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you use that? That's the point. How can you use that? How could you relate to galactic DNA in a way that serves the evolution of humanity? You can. You can.
Right.
And so I have put these things in the various books, but in this book, Potential Body, I'm really, on some levels, again, it was hard for me because I did have to go back and say, these are things that have been used to heal your body from the beginning of time. And these are the qualities that you've had from the beginning of time to do what we think of as miracles, which are not miracles. We just don't know scientifically how it happens. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens. All of us have experienced miracles in our lives. We just project it out instead of realize that we called it to us. We called it to us.
That we brought it in.
Let's call more of those. We brought it in. Let's do more. Let's do more of that, And so I had to talk about, foods that change your body. But I love that you brought forward that in this conversation, that it's not about what needs to be fixed. It's really about how to bring things into balance and then go forward with that. And use your body because, for example, in the book, I talk about the endocrine system, and the endocrine system is very important to our hormones. It's very important to our physicality, but it is also the threshold to our light body. It's also the threshold to, again, a higher level of consciousness. And so every night when I go to bed, for example, I ask my endocrine system, which one of you glands needs a little juice? For example, talking about that fear thing, fear is held in the kidneys. And on top of the kidneys are these little endocrine glands, that put out, put out hormones that activate our fight or flight. And we need to work with these things now. And just by looking at that, or looking at your throat, everybody has, because of the radiation, they're having trouble with our thyroids. We're tired, All you need to do is bring light into your thyroid and acknowledge it. And here's one of the things that I love. In the same way that we need to acknowledge each other, we need to acknowledge our animals, not treat them like, but treat them with respect. We need to treat our body with respect. And once we begin to do that, we have a different body. We have a potential body.
Absolutely. And
that's the beginning of that.
Right. And you brought up animals, which is so important because, again, from days gone by, open pastures, wonderful open grazing, there were things, and now you go through the Midwest and so forth, and you see just these corrals of packed in animals and everything. And my point being is everything is energy. And when you realize that what is taking place and happening with these animals and that they become the food supply, you recognize and realize exercises in consciousness, it should become apparent that that's what's coming into our food supply chain and so forth. That energy of confinement, of
I love that you bring that up.
Degradation.
Yes, an example of that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't eat meat, but I am bringing up something very important about that. If you slaughter an animal in mass slaughters, which is the way we do it commercially, what happens is that it triggers fear in them. For example, to eat a chicken, they put them on conveyor belts. So when the first one loses its head, that ones behind it, way 100 behind it, have already picked up that story, and they are afraid.
Yes.
When you are afraid, that's fight or flight, whether you're a human or a different kind of an animal. That fear goes into the muscles which helps you
Yes.
to flight, helps you to run away if you can. When
Endorphins,
you are eating that,
yes.
so you're eating their fear, and then you wonder why you're afraid all the time.
Right.
It's not yours, it's theirs. And so there's a way to fix this. There's a way to fix this. And this is an important thing that I say in that book, and I'm so glad that you brought this up about the animals, is that what you should eat is your story. So I never say don't eat meat or do that. I say ask your body. When, how much, and if. And you will be amazed at how well you'll become by simply saying, body, do you want that? Or do you not want that? And so, locking these animals up. Now, I will say, people used to say to me, how can you stand to go take your children, for example, to a zoo?
Right.
Where all these animals are locked in cages. So I talk to the animals, and I'm sure you've done this too, James. I talk to them, and I've apologized. First of all, I always apologize to them that we've done this. And you know what? Many times they've said to me, they said, yes, I'm giving my life. I'm giving my life so that children and humans can recognize me and care about me, care about my species. And that's why I'm willing to be in this. I'm in service, so I'm willing to do this. But when they say that to me, that means to me that this is the time for us to make better zoos, you know?
Right, better choices, exercises in consciousness.
Yes.
You can tell, Chris, I'm going to hammer that 1 point home.
Thank you so much, because that is something, whether people can take reincarnation or all of the magic of the world, they can relate to choice. We all know when we're making a choice, even when we pretending, well, I couldn't help it. It was because of this or this or this. We know very well that we allowed it.
To your point of knowings. They're knowings. We know.
That's the point of knowing. Exactly. And when you realize that you know, that's when the choice and the responsibility, those are my favorite words, come into play. Because responsibility is not a burden. It's an honor. Yeah. It's to say, I'm powerful enough to take responsibility. And here's something very important in terms of getting rid of judgment, James. I'm not responsible for the outcome. I'm responsible for my choice to contribute what I have to contribute. That's the difference. That's the power. I choose to care about the animals, or I choose to enter the fray in some way. Just like the animals are teaching us. And you know,
absolutely,
right now on this planet, thanks to COVID, really, and other things, people have begun to say, I need an animal. I need a bird. I need a cat. I need a dog. I need a fish. You know, I need company. And then suddenly that company becomes important to us. And it begins to open us up, again, our identity. And I giggle. Here's the play. Well, you like a cat? You have cat DNA in you, because that is a scientific fact. You know, they're mammals and so are we, so that we really have cats and dogs in us. So how can we then not treat them with respect, or look and see the qualities of intuition cats give, or the quality of loyalty that dogs give, to build on these things, to choose to build on them, to expand our sense of self, our identity.
Right. Because what we're really saying, whether it's the cat, the dog, the fish, the horse, whatever it may be, what we're really saying is, I need love. I need reassurance. I need that nourishment, that safety, and so forth. And animals, no matter their species, deliver that, offer that in service, as we're talking about. And to be
in service,
cognizant of the fact that we're in reciprocity with them. Love them back.
You know, it's so beautiful. This is a cosmic law that you're bringing up. If you want love, give love. Yes. If you want money, give money. If you, whatever you want, give that. And then cosmic law, like the figure eight of eternity, will amplify the potential of it coming back to you.
And coming
so
back.
This is why we love our animals and they love us back. They love us back anyway. But
Yeah, exactly.
we begin to be aware
Exactly.
of it. We become aware of it, yeah.
So this is another excerpt from your book, in our second quote. You hold the key to your own potential body and all its creative expressions. Imagine the illumination and wonderment that will come to you as you learn to communicate with your body and discover its true power and depth. And then we have this quote, consciousness is the accelerator of evolution. It provides the illumination of choice from the depth of the soul. And I love that, Chris, because what it's saying is that, again, you're connecting to your soul. You're connecting to your soul source connection. You're connecting to the vessel that your soul created. And so where many people have this disconnect, I don't like my body, I don't like my height, I don't like my gender, I don't like my hair, there could be 1,000 I don't likes. And once you stop and say, your soul chose this vessel. It is perfect, purposeful, divine. And to your point with this new book, Potential Body, connect with it. Speak with them, listen to it, and what comes? Liberation, empowerment, growth, expansion.
Fantastic. So beautifully said, James. So beautifully said. And the other side of that that's very important to realize that I talk about in the book is the moment you say, I don't like my hair, I don't like my stomach, I don't like my whatever you don't like, your body's listening. Your body's listening. And your body will react to that. It will react. So it's a simple exercise in consciousness to begin to say, thank you, body, to choose. And one of the things that I love in one of the series of incarnational work is called psychogenetics, what we have inherited. And one of the things people always say, oh gosh, I'm going to have I might get a heart attack, or I'm going to get diabetes because it's in my family. Well, no, it's not because of the genes. It's because your connection to your family has spiritual themes there that bring about a sense of self. And so you just copied that sense of self. But what's really important to begin to, and I do this when people are doing psychogenetics, from whom have you inherited something you love about your body? And that's a whole story of changing relationships in families. Or simply focusing for a moment, what do I love about my body? Well, actually, I have a great, which you have, James, and mine was gone because I spent the morning with my face in the dirt and there was mosquitoes flying around right now. And the whole first half I had no voice, but you have, for example, one of the most magnificent voices I've ever heard. Mm. And that voice, so really when you stop and say, well, what do I like about my body? I'm just saying to you, I'm sure you like your voice, and all of us like your voice. It's a voice that's so powerful, so clean, so clear, but it transmits. Your voice transmits. And so, when we just stop and let's just do this for a moment, everybody, just close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath in and feel inside yourself. What do you like about your body right now? And feel what it is. And feel what it is and bring it into your consciousness so that you're really aware of it, how you wield it, how it helps you. And then say, thank you, body. Thank you, body. And open your eyes.
Mm. So many, and because you've just completed that, this excerpt, again, right on point. The fears of your forefathers were real and powerful, and all too often accompanied their death. Discovering that you have the power to release the fears of others, which may be glued into your cellular mind, can change your life. Imprinting your own sense of safety or contrarily, vulnerability embodied throughout your life will determine in multitudinous ways what happens to you. And you speak about the belief system. What's your belief system? And to that point, are you vulnerable to it because exercises in consciousness? What is the belief system and what is the interaction?
Yes. And it's so amazing to realize again that through that choice, And through that exercise in consciousness, you can move away from that. You can move on. You can move forward. That's what evolution means. You know,
Yes.
it means, it means building upon and using what's there. And this is how you get rid of it. You can't turn away and go, okay, this is terrible, but I'm going to ignore it. No, you must turn and face it, see what it is, see how it is using you. One of the things that my higher self has brought to me through my near-death experiences is, here it is, use life. Use life, James. Use everything that happens to you and go, okay, here's this. How shall I use it instead of it using me? And the moment that you do that, you suddenly have the power. And then, where am I holding that? What color does it need to be released? I'm out. And
you flip the script. You absolutely flip the script. Because in essence, it's not happening to us, right? It's happening for us. And it's up to us to make that choice to say, what's on offer here? Where's the pearl in this grain of sand?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's where it comes to be.
And so beautiful. You're saying, again, this is one of the sentences, famous sentences from the Light Institute. What is the gift? What is the gift of everything?
What is the gift?
You use it and then dissolve it. If it doesn't serve you, you've learned from it. So then you release it. You don't keep going, letting your emotional body associate and go back to it. You help your emotional body be fed on ecstasy, rapture, bliss,
happiness, play, dance. It's all of these beautiful things. I just want to conclude, Chris, with this piece of the book, and then a last thoughts and everything from you. You say this book is not meant to be a scientific treatise. It is meant to be a tool of self-discovery, such as to illuminate a higher purpose of embodiment and how to wield our physicality through new potential pathways as to become guardians and masters of our human form. It is time to not only discover how to have a healthy body, but to dissolve the limits of its potential by weaving together our subtle bodies with our physical one, so that we can use them both in ways that may seem superhuman at this moment. We are at this massive moment of evolution. Divine timing. The book is right on time because it really says to us quantum leaps forward, right? There's a quantum leap in consciousness, in evolution, in opportunity, in possibility.
Yes. So beautifully said.
And this is where, so as we close out the hour, we're running a little over, but, you know, as we said, you and I could talk for hours and play for days.
Yes,
with great joy. For lifetimes, exactly.
I've known you before.
Absolutely. Yes. So, Chris, any final words about the works, the Light Institute, the new book? I mean, just an offering from you to all of the listeners.
I am giving my life in this way. And I know that each of you can do the same, because when you work with your body, it will influence people around you. It's not that you preach to them. It's that you walk your talk. You live it. And we can live bigger lives than we thought we could live. And it's the moment to do it. And so know that nothing is set in stone right now. You can change your body. I've seen through psychogenetics at the Light Institute, people actually grow inches, change their faces, their bodies change. I have seen miracles, again, only because people choose to look at themselves from the profound truth. And that's what time it is. We are not here as accidents, as I said. We're here together. And this is, I love that you said it this way, James. This is the moment of a quantum leap in what it is to be human and how to use consciousness and divine source to make not only a better world, but the evolution of the soul, of the divine soul, of God itself. I wrote a book called The Evolution of God. And there it is. Great love to each and all of you.
Well, to everyone, when you're searching, looking for empowerment, evolution, growth, I cannot recommend the Light Institute and Chris Griscom and all of the Light Institute facilitators around the globe. It's incredibly beautiful work. I just want to bring up for everyone, this is Chris Griscom, the Light Institute. The website is lightinstitute.com, and her new book is Potential Body, Helix of Enlightened Health. She has numerous books, so anywhere they're available online and so forth, or your bookstores, you can find them there. And Chris, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so, so much for being here with us and for sharing your light, your wisdom, and your legacy, because all of this is that imprint. All of these things that we're talking about are the imprint that you leave for all of us. So what a beautiful legacy of life.
And they're being transmitted because of you. I give you my love and my deepest, deepest respect, my soul friend.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we will see you on the next episode of Inspired Connections, sharing wisdom one conversation at a time.